Well, speaking of which, we'll start the recording. Okay, I'm Thomas Garrison, and I've been developing about 25 years. And if you need some help, you got Arthur Moorhead, who's here also been developing for about 20 years and applying SEO. Either one of us are here for hire or help, whatever you might need. And today, we're going to pick up sort of where we left off last week. So Kevin, you still have to go watch last week's meeting. We want to get further into how keywords relate to your buyer's journey. And we talked about buyer's journey last week, and it's extremely important that when you're writing your pages, the first question you have to ask yourself is, what's this page for? What stage of the buyer's journey is this page for? Now, that's a simple question, but any hands confused on why you would think that you need to know the answer to that question? The hands, emoji, everybody then understands why you need to know the buyer's journey when you're beginning to write a page of content? Yes, no, maybe. Steve says yes, he knows why. Anybody else? Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
Okay, so your homepage, does it still, because I've always thought of the homepage as more of a greeting than SEO, content, or buyer's journey.
Okay, good question, because, and this applies specifically to you and anybody who has been doing a bunch of work on their site. I'm going to say that I would bet nobody has got blank pages on their website. I think you all have a site that's created, whether it's right or wrong, you've got it created. You have the pages. You're just trying to figure out what to do with it. So if you have done some work on your site, and I wish Amber was here because she would be prime example. She is at the top of the search engines in the first position for bottle breachers. That's what she sells. That's what her site's all about. But as I discussed with her off the meeting, she's in a position where she needs to train people to know what a bottle breacher is, because most people have no clue. I didn't know until I talked to her. I'd never heard the term. But I said, leave that page alone. So if you've got your home page that you've worked on to get it into the search engines, and for whatever keyword term, whatever it's doing, if it's at the top of the search engines or, you know, within that top 10, don't mess with it. Find a different page. So Kevin, for you, the question is, if I remember correctly, you're doing okay on the home page for a couple of terms. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
So if it's doing fairly decent for those couple of terms that you do want, then work on a different page. But to go back to your original question, yes, your home page normally is a page that's basically a directory for your site. So don't try to push that into the top of the search engines. But I'll go back to what I just said. There are some people who've already done that, who have pushed that home page into either a good position or a fantastic position at the top of the page. So don't touch that page if it's already doing what we all intend for any page of our site to do. It attains the position at the top of the search engines for a keyword term that you want. All right, so that page is done. You can change images or maybe a few words or something like that, but leave that page alone. So then you're going to go to another page. And for you, Kevin, it would be, okay, so think of a different page in your head. And what's that page about?
Okay.
And once you have the subject of that page, Now you have to decide what is the stage of the buyer's journey for this particular page. So if you're writing new content, then the first thing that you want is an information page. That's the first stage of the journey. And for anybody who needs a little refresher, you have three. You've got the awareness, you've got the consideration, and you have the purchase. Now you can come up with a couple of different terms meaning the same thing for those three stages, but awareness, consideration, and decision. And for those who are kind of in question about that, the information is the buyer is only looking for information in order to make themselves aware of what is available for the subject they are considering. In other words, in fact, I'm going to move this back now to the crowd. So I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to ask this question. Has anybody not purchased something on the internet? I don't care what it is. It could be a car, it could be a toothbrush. I don't care what it is. Who has never purchased anything on the internet? Okay, perfect. Nobody raised their hand. So we can all say that everybody here has purchased at least once on the internet. Okay, so think back to the last thing that you purchased, and it doesn't make any difference what it was or where you purchased it. How did you decide what you were going to do, where you were going to purchase? Did you just wake up in the morning and go, oh, I need a pair of slippers? Think of what it was. And hands for somebody who wants to tell me, because I want to hear how you decided that you are going to go search blah, blah. What was the last thing that you purchased? Anybody? Don't be afraid. I don't bite hard. I'll pick on somebody. Who purchased something recently? And there's Kevin Hackett. I'm glad you're back this week, Kevin, because I do want to get more into the keyword planner. And you were having difficulty last time. Andrea was right on Amazon. Okay, so Andrea, even if you're not coming up, you're not raising your hand. I see you're in the chat. So you went to Amazon. When did you decide that you needed to go to Amazon? How did you get to that point? Just conditioned to start there. Okay, Pavlov's dog. Okay, so let me back up just a bit. What was it that you were going to find? What was it that you were considering purchasing and why? Andrea?
Supplies for my vacation rentals.
Okay, so let's back up. Did you suddenly wake up one morning and decide you need some supplies for your business?
No, and I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood the question.
No, it's not. It's kind of a tricky question, but I'm trying to get to where do you start in the buyer's journey? You're the buyer now. So what was the first thing that you did? You realized that you needed something, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So did you have a good idea of what you needed, or were you at ground zero going, I don't know?
No, I knew what I needed.
Okay, so you did. So that would mean to me that you were already in stage 2 of the buyer's journey. So
True.
what I'm looking for is somebody who was in a stage 1. Kevin, go ahead. I didn't mute you. There you go.
Okay, so I don't do a lot of purchasing online,
Okay.
but a couple years ago, my wife made a comment to me about some Christmas houses that I bought her, I don't know, 25 years ago, and how she always wanted more of them. So I went and grabbed one of the ones that we had, looked on the bottom to see who made it, and I just put that in a search engine. Didn't even know if they were available. Sure enough, eBay is filled with them. And that's the main point, you know, of where you can pick up these items.
Okay, so you had a light bulb that went on because your wife was saying she wants something.
Yes,
So you had an idea of what you wanted because you could even hold it in your hand and say, well, I want another one of these things. Okay, got that. That would also mean that you were in stage 2. Wasn't that you woke up and did anything, but okay, so that's a stage 2. And this is all part of, everybody needs to understand what is stage 1, what is stage 2, and what is stage 3. Stage 2, you have an idea of what you want. You need to refine that idea. You need to refine the information about it. So you're going to see if you can find, you're in the consideration mode. So you've got an idea of what you want. You just need more specific information before you decide that's the one that I want. Peyton, go ahead.
I think you usually see it somewhere else. You see it in your Instagram feed, you see it in a Facebook reel, you see it on a billboard, like wherever you get your information from. You watch a YouTube video, you usually see somebody else that has it and you're like, oh, I need that.
Okay, that's a good one because you hadn't thought about something. So it's all of a sudden you saw something, you saw an advertisement someplace and you decided, maybe I want one of those. What'd you do next?
Then usually I go search, I search the options. So I see who's making it, you look at prices and you just compare everything.
That's stage 2. And then
You purchase.
you make the decision on which one that you want based on stage 2. So your information in your pages that you're writing for your content in your entire site, each section needs to have those. If you've got a page that has combined any of those 3 stages, that's a bad page. You need to go back and fix that page. So when you're working on stage 1, it's just information. I can use Kevin again because we've talked about this, and you're looking for, and your homepage has got information on it. So your homepage can be considered a stage 1. People are looking for it. So you would use that page. And for everybody else, don't try to use your homepage as getting to the top of the search engines. If you've already done it, like I was saying before, and it has attained a pretty decent position, then work on another page. But you want that page that is information to be just information. You can link with buttons. It can be a read more, however you want to obviously tell people that, yes, here's all your information. And by the way, at the end of this paragraph, you said, if you want more information on that, then you go here. Make it clear what that button or link is going to do for them. Where is it going to take them? They may want to read more information, so they may want to read down the page further. At which point you would say, okay, I'm also going to have this link here for the next link, for the next page, next step in the buyer's journey. I'm not sure if everybody's clear on that, but who is not? It's like Peyton and quite a few people are, but Regina, you look like you're studying awfully hard. And anybody else?
It takes a while
Howard
for
just got-
the information to process in my brain. That's why it looks like I'm thinking.
And that's
all.
good, because we do get you thinking in these meetings. And I know that a lot of people process. I try to insert a little levity once in a while, being a smart aleck. But with yourself, Regina, when was the last time that you purchased something?
Yesterday,
Well, there you go. And what stage were you in when you decided to go to do whatever you did?
well, I've been dealing with them for a few months, so it's familiar, and also, I did do stage 1 of awareness because I noticed that I did need some things. So, and then of course, I did my research, second stage, and then I just decided to call them, let them know what I needed, and told them the number and stuff, and then I just bought the items.
Okay. So you're kind of stage 1.5 when you started through the process.
Yes.
Okay. So, oh, Peyton, you got a question. Go ahead.
So I am a business to business service. Does this all like still apply? Because they're not purchasing something online. They're more purchasing the opportunity to learn more and to connect with me, submit a contact form, that sort of thing. Like, does that still all?
Let me try to say it a different way. Whatever you're doing in your site, you're trying to make money, isn't that correct? Okay. So wouldn't it be true to say that whatever you do in your website is selling something?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure it was still the same.
Yes, is what I'm getting to, because
Yep, okay, perfect.
it doesn't make a darn bit of difference whether you're selling business to business or selling business to person or however you're doing it. You're selling something.
Sure.
This is
Yeah.
selling. So
Mhm.
when somebody sees your site, you're selling something. But you just have to be careful about the page they land on, because it has to be made for what the keywords were. That's how keywords work in tandem with the stage process. Somebody's searching something. They happen to search, and your website link, a page of your website came up. And that means that you used the keyword or a keyword in that page that matched enough for what they searched that they went, oh, here's a link, and click on that. What is the stage of that journey? It has to meet with their intention. If the buyer's intention was to get information and they landed on a stage 2 page, they'll probably bounce. And certainly if they get onto a page 3 page of your site, when they were simply looking for information, then they're going to say, no, I'm not ready to buy. I need the information. And a lot of times people think, well, it's in my site, so just go to the other page. No, that's not a drive-through quickie. That's our whole process today. Everybody's looking for that drive-through mentality. It's got to be right here, right in front of me, or I'm leaving. You
Yep,
obviously have,
simplify the process.
yeah. So you have to provide. So you have to do the thinking. And that's why last week we were talking about finding keywords. You've got to do the research for keywords. And now this week we're telling you, make sure that you are matching the keywords to the page you're writing. What kind of keywords are they? And there are keywords that trigger sales. In fact, Maury, would you like to say a couple words on that?
Well, I can give you an example of a B2B. Like for myself, I have a NAS box that has 4 terabyte hard drives in it. I had a drive fail. I put my spare in. My trigger event was at a failed hard drive. So I went looking for hard drives. Now, even though I know I needed a 4 terabyte hard drive, and I know what brand I bought last time, I still did my due diligence and looked at all the different kinds of 4 terabyte hard drives, because there's different grades. There's different costs. Do I want a NAS one? Do I want a desktop version? So I did all my homework, right? Narrowed it down to the possible vendors I wanted to buy from, or the brand I wanted to buy. And then I narrowed it down to the type of 4 terabyte hard drive I wanted to buy. Then I took my credit card out and bought the drive. So I went through all the phases, because even though I knew what I wanted, I still didn't know do I want a desktop 4 TB hard drive? Do I want a NAS? And there's different levels of NAS. They make them in blue and red and black. It's like, what's the difference? Why do they cost more? You know, what am I getting? If I pay 3 times more for this NAS drive, what do I get for my money? That's where I'm trying to learn and understand, right?
And that's true. Anybody who's looking for a hard drive today, yes, you could get the old standby hard drive that you know, big sucker and it's heavy and it weighs in your hand, or you can get the flat, small SSD drive. And that's what most people have gone to today because it's so small. And of course, I didn't have one in my new case that I built. And so I had to shove the big drives in there, but it's set up to have, it's got space for 2 SSD drives. That kind of takes the thing out of it. But as somebody's looking for a drive, it's like, why would I want that drive over this one? You're in the information mode. You know that you need a drive, but I don't know what's a good one for today.
Mhm.
Kevin, go ahead.
Well, I probably got a real stupid question here, my friend, that you'll never let me live down.
Oh, then a good thing we're recording this.
Okay, so if I'm trying to design a page, not design, but work out the verbiage for the page that I want to work with or for the awareness stage, how do you know what type of verbiage to use?
In your case, I know that we talked about a bunch of different things, but in your thing, if you have your information page, which you said is your home page, we've got that cleared. You're talking about what type of phones, a specific phone. So if somebody's looking up VoIP phones, you want them to come to that homepage because it gives them a lot of good information about what is a VoIP phone, right?
Right.
Now, your second stage is you mentioned in your informational page, Grandstream and whatever the other name is. You can link those 2 names to the awareness page. And on that awareness page, now you're talking about Grandstream and this other one. Saying here are 2 different types of VoIP systems that you carry. And that you not only sell, but you install, you do the maintenance on them and everything else. So if they're aware of a specific product, that's the awareness page, and you're going to tell them about specific product information. It's not just general over VoIP, it's now about Grandstream. They already know what VoIP is. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Thomas,
So
I was going to say, if you compare it back to my hard drive model,
Yeah.
now you know you want an IP phone system, but what I don't know is what features do I want? What does this system do?
See?
What does this system do? Why does this one cost more? Why is, what color does it come in? Can I get people care about those kind
Yeah.
of things, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does the handset feel when I pick it up? How does it feel in my hand? Because I talk on the phone all the, that's the kind of stuff once they're past awareness and they're trying to make a decision, they're going through those kind of things.
okay.
So
But-
go ahead.
In 35 plus years, nobody's asked me for a specific color. Nobody's asked me how does the handset feel.
But you know your business. You know
Okay.
what people are looking for. So you're going to say this system it stands up and barks like a dog because you've heard so many people in your business say, I want a phone system that stands up and barks like a dog every time it rings.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank
If
you.
you sell a phone like that, you're fired.
But what you don't know, Kevin, is if somebody did all that research online before they got to you and knew they wanted this phone with this features and this color, and they just said, this is what I want. That's usually when they'll phone you and ask you for what they want. They're not going to at that point say, do you have it in red, blue? They've already made their decision.
Yep.
No, my friend. Most phones are black or dark gray or white.
That's just like the old Model T in LA. And we got it any color you want as long as it's black.
The pink wall phones are dead and gone. So gray, black, white, that's it. Okay.
Yep. All right, so so you know now that your awareness is going to have a bit of information about pushing them to call now. Of course, you would want to pepper those not bullet points, but the buttons that are saying call now.
Right.
I know that's what you want to do. You don't have that third stage online. So you're concerned with stage 1 and stage 2. So I might interject that if you've got a business like Kevin's, in that you're not literally selling it on your site, but you're pulling people in so they contact you to be able to make that sale, then you'll do the same thing. You're going to have the stage 1, stage 2. And on stage 2, you're saying, call me for this product, or call me now, or whatever it is. You're telling people what you want them to do next. And don't assume that people are going to take a particular process. You have to think for them. You know that they just didn't jump out of bed in the morning and decide that they wanted a Grandstream phone system. So you've got to figure out what stage they are in. Okay, so if you've got a page in the top search engines, then and you use specific keyword terms, there's where we're leading up to next. Now, I know that Lori is going to be able to handle this better than I. It's the keyword terms. There are specific keyword terms that are used for the various stages. What's your take? What's your suggestion on that, Maury?
You mean figuring out what's a buyer, what's an awareness keyword, and blah, blah, along those lines?
Yes.
I gave you guys my secret last week to how to figure that out, but most people won't do it because it's expensive. But that's the fastest way.
Is there a way that kind of pushes you to go, oh, I get kind of keywords that I know? And yes, you're right. The method that you're talking about is rather expensive, but for the average Joe, for those of us here, it's like,
Okay, well,
how do I figure that out?
the easiest and simplest way right now, and the world we've been blessed with AI, and believe it or not, AI is really good at telling you that. If you go in and tell it, give me a list of keywords, and these are the different intentions I want to know, it'll actually give you examples and build it out for you. That's something AI is actually very good at, is helping you understand the intention of a keyword. Or if you already have a list of keywords and you feed those keywords to the AI and tell it to tell me what the intention of those keywords is, it'll tell you. It'll tell you what stage they belong to and what the intention of each keyword is. AI is awesome for that.
There you go.
That's probably, otherwise you've got to use your noodle and start thinking through it. It's like, and looking at competitor site, what keywords they're using when people are buying, are they getting results? Or the easy way is use AI and just have it tell you.
Yes.
Then it's your noodle.
And because AI is so prominent right now, and ChatGPT, from what I remember, is still free.
Yes, the basic.
Spent months trying to get in. I still haven't created an account because every time I've tried, it goes, nope, we're busy.
But honest to God, that's the fastest and simplest way I can tell people to, because it'll tell you without me having to get into explanations of what a keyword looks like, what a buyer keyword looks like, what an awareness keyword looks like. It'll do it for you. You just feed it your list of keywords, do your Google, do your AdWords research, like you said, in the keyword tool, collect all your keywords, feed them into ChatGPT, and it'll tell you the intention of them.
And that's what you want. Kevin, I think that's a really good note for you. Use ChatGPT just to find out keyword terms and whether the terms are, what stage for of the process are each of the keywords for. And then you go to the keyword planner in Google to see how many people are searching those keywords.
Thank you.
Kate, you had a question.
Well, so yeah, I was just gonna ask about the whole ranking side, because I know a little bit about SEO, but not enough to implement it for myself or my clients. But what I learned was like you run it, you pay a couple $100s for Uber Suggest, which I am not doing at this point in my business, but then you can look at the ranking and you get so many each day. So that's what was gonna be my question. After you use some sort of AI, figure out the keywords you want to use, then you hop into something and you see how they rank, and then you adjust from there, like what, after you know like their purpose and intention, then hop into some sort of ranking and see if those are going to work for you.
After
Hey,
you,
Thomas, let me make a comment on that.
okay, go ahead.
Are you willing to write 6 to 7 new pieces of content every day for the next 45 to 60 days?
As
Then
a
you're not
content
gonna
creator,
rank.
I say no.
Okay, well, that's what it takes to rank, and you have to build your site structure correctly around that to make that stuff rank, all in the right way of setting it up with awareness and everything else.
Mm.
That is what's going to make you right, because that's what Google's looking for now, is topical authority. And if you can write that many articles in that amount of time, that is going to get you topical authority, because you're going to have all these different topics and all these different articles, and Google will love you. Because you refuse to do it, 99% of people refuse to do it. The ones that do win.
So when you say content, are you talking blog posts? Are you talking social media content? What does that look like?
It's all within your website. So it's all
Oh, all
blog
the, okay.
posts, right? Yeah, I'm talking within your website, right?
Yeah.
Now you can repurpose it into social media.
Oh,
It doesn't
absolutely.
have to all stay in your website,
Mhm.
but I'm talking that many articles just for your website. Anyone that's willing to do that is going to be way ahead of the game of
I
everybody
mean, I'm
else.
hiring a copywriter, so that potentially.
And that's what a lot of people will do. They'll just pay someone else to do it, because you can get articles written now for what, $5, $6, $7. AI has simplified that a lot, and then they can do the AI does a bunch of the work, and then the human eyes will go in and do the cleanup, so
Sure.
it gets the cost articles down. So if you want to play the money game, you can win if you have the money. That's exactly the secret I gave to Thomas about keywords last week. Is it's a money game, but it's expensive.
Right. So
If you
then,
wanna
so I have a question in that realm. So
Yeah.
Like hardly any people find me through my website or my opt-ins. It's usually referrals or through my social media platform. So how is that a good route for me then? Is the like looking to rank, when how many people are going to look, social media marketer, like I don't know how many people are Googling for that, or if they would go off of somebody or go through a Facebook group or something like that.
Which goes right back to the original, which is do the keyword research, feed the intent into AI, and then go back and find out what the search volumes are. And if the search volumes are not high enough, then maybe that's not the right avenue for you. If the search volumes for buyer intent keywords are high enough, maybe you're not using the right keywords in your articles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, right? Because I haven't seen your website or your content. It's purely a
Don't
guess.
look at my website.
Okay,
It needs
well,
redone.
but that's the kind of research you need to do to find out, is SEO the right thing for me?
Okay.
Because I mean, referrals typically come because someone trusts you and they're referring someone to you.
Right.
When people are doing Google search, they don't have any trust. You have to earn that.
Right.
So if your website is not instilling trust in the searcher, it's not going to work very well for you. And
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
where all
if
these.
I was a wedding photographer locally where
Yeah.
they need to see your work and want to see reviews and stuff like that, that makes sense. But
Yes.
I'm not a wedding photographer.
No, but I mean, with yours, I haven't seen your site, so I can't speak to the trust value on there or the search
Sure.
volume, or if they're looking for your particular thing. The biggest key I tell people, and Thomas hears me stress on this all the time, is what problem are you solving for your prospects? Because
Yep.
that's all they care.
Yep.
They care about outcomes and results. They don't
Mhm.
care about what you do.
Right.
So are you using the right keywords, and are you speaking their language? Are you speaking in their metric of how they measure value? I find most people like to write content based on their own personal metrics, and those metrics are not going to be the same as my metric. So
Right.
if you're not writing to fit my metric, your content's not going to resonate with me.
Sure.
So you have to find out your audiences understand their metric, how they measure value, and speak to them in their metric and how they measure value, so that they'll like and trust. If they
Mhm.
trust you, they'll come and talk to you.
Sure.
Where most people, when they're writing from their own personal metric, they often do what, well, Thomas hears me call this, they pitch slap. So they're trying to sell their product before
Right,
they've
instead of
diagnosed the
selling the
problem.
destination. Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm hijacking Thomas's. I'm gonna give it back to Thomas. I don't want to hijack his whole webinar, but I wanted to elaborate on your question.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That was all good information for everybody to hear. I'm glad for that. And I want to check in with Kevin. Kevin Hackett, are you with us right now? There he is.
I am. Yes.
So you wanted to dig a little deeper into the keyword research. So far today, have you found more specific information, like a continuation of where we were last week, so you would understand better how to do the research for your keywords?
Honestly, I've been doing something else in the last week, so I've been kind of reorganizing or rethinking my site, the layout of the site based on what you were talking about with the intentions, and
Yeah.
I figured I didn't have enough. I've the landing page to attract people, but then I don't have the next steps to get people interested in a specific topic and leading them down the funnel into making a sale. So I'm trying to
Okay.
work on that more instead of keywords, but
And
I was hoping somebody else would offer up and of their site and we could go through an example or something.
one of the main things that you were talking about last week was how to better use the keyword planner. And you were saying that you weren't sure if you're using it correctly. But I believe, and by all means, if you'd like us to take a look at yours and go through it again to show us the keyword planner and what you should look for, you can pull it up on your site. You
Oh,
can-
I hadn't really, I just had looked at it, but I didn't even really understand what I was looking at. That's the
Okay.
problem.
Well, if you want to, go ahead and pull it up. And share the
hold on.
keyword planner. Because I think that today has answered that for you, because you've got more information on how to search for the keyword. And we don't need to necessarily go to AI to look for a new keyword. We can just kind of get to the next stage with the keyword planner and say, okay, since you found these, let's plug them in to the keyword planner and find out how many people are actually searching these terms. Does that make sense, Kevin?
Sure. Okay, hold on here. You seeing that now?
Discover keywords.
Okay, now this is all I've done is really just gone through.
Instead of clicking on those, go up to discover new keywords.
I'd almost like to start from scratch here.
And that's what, yeah, because we're just going to say, and you probably know several keyword terms.
Well, honestly, what I did last time was I started with the competitor site and just wanted to see what I could do, what I could see from there.
You can, if you know that the competitor is somebody that's in the top of the search engines, because you
Yeah.
wouldn't want to take it from somebody that's 400 pages back. Even
No,
if the
this
competitor
is
doesn't do you
the
any
number
good.
one that I was looking at. But anyway, we could do it my way or.
Yeah, just drop in a keyword term that you have in your list or that you remember. Okay, I want to check this one, and let's see what you come up with. Okay, and now just hit get results. $10 to $100 in national results. So your average monthly searches. And so everybody understands what we're seeing in that second column is 10 to 100. That means there's 10 to 100 people nationally searching that term. If you're using a national term, if you're trying to, and I do not recommend this for anybody. If you're targeting national searches, you need something that's having a minimum of thousands of results. If you're a local, 10 to 100 might be okay. but that would be join a band in Seattle or join a band in Pennsylvania or wherever it is. You have a specific area. In this situation, it's join a band. How many people are searching that term? Very few.
I also noticed.
But
'cause
see,
I'm
if you
in Canada.
do search the United States, that's like,
Oh.
oh, okay, 1,000 to 10,000 in just the United States. That might not be bad, but again, if you're trying to target a national search and you don't have any traction, it's a fairly new site, national is not a good way to go. You need to start with a smaller territory and then you grow out. So wherever you're located, you'd be happy to have 1,000 to 10,000 people who are searching in your territory. But I don't think you're going to get that. If you, what's your territory, Kevin?
Toronto. You hear me?
I can now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, sorry, didn't know if I just switched to my headphones there.
What's your territory?
Toronto.
Okay,
There,
there you go.
sorry, let me turn off the headphones. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you
Sorry.
can click right in there, where it says join band, not on the X, but you click on join band on the blue part, sorry. Oops, oh well, join band and Toronto. There you're back to 10 to 100. And there really aren't, the only thing that they left out in that term is in, which I would have too, but it's not a term that most people are using. Now, for anybody, it doesn't make any difference, whatever that your service or product is. This is exactly what you would be doing with your stuff. So if anybody, and I would highly recommend this, join in your own computer, pull up the keyword planner, Google keyword planner, and do the same thing. Check some of the keywords that you're considering using or keyword terms that you did use in your content. If they've got the same results, you need to go, oh, well, those keywords suck, so let's find something else. If you're not in the, excuse me, if you're not in the top of search engines, there is no reason in the world to be too concerned about changing keyword terms. But you do have to figure out whether you've got a band, local band. I would say find musicians near me. So you're still 100 to 1,000. Okay. 100 to 1,000. And 100 to 1,000. I don't see anything more than that. If you scroll down, you'll see all these things are related to that same term. And another way to look at this search is to open another tab and go right to Google and search the exact same term. And I'll show you why. Go ahead, Kevin. Just searching Google for the exact same term. Okay, now scroll down the page. Go down a little further. Keep going. And they don't have, oh, there's related searches, Toronto musicians. Scroll down just a little bit more. See those things right there? Those are related search terms to the term that you searched. This will happen whatever you search. So now you're looking at Danforth Avenue, Toronto. Oh, that's, I don't know about Toronto, but Kevin, you'd be able to look at that and go, oh, really? People are looking for that? I have no idea what musicians wanted Toronto. Kijiji?
Gigi is like a Craigslist kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And Band Mix Canada, musicians wanted Craigslist. Find local musicians to jam with. Is that in your list of keywords, Kevin?
I didn't have that long a keyword.
Now you
string. I
have,
just had find jam partners or find, yeah, that looks like a good one there.
that's why Google's putting those things there, because
Yeah.
those are terms that people have searched that are related to the term that you just searched.
And then there, right
And they
there.
may be better than the one that you searched. And that's the, is that you or
No, it's the
it's the
competitor.
competition, yeah. So obviously the competition came up with what you searched, and you can try to search the keyword term that Google says. No, okay, so here's one that Google said to search. What do you find for that? Still, the fact that other people searched a similar term, same number, that's the way that you keep pushing to learn how to use the right keyword terms. Google Planner is looking at what's going on in Google, and there are people who use other paid services that are not part of Google. So, like I was saying last week, if you've got, you're trying to get up into Google, use what Google has. And if they give you information that says, well, it's not a very good term, then find a different term. But you want to make sure that you keep looking and keep digging. Don't just find one and say, oh, that one's good enough, because people search a lot of terms that are related to whatever term you've used or you are considering. Don't start writing your content until you have done this research. This is what SEO is all about. It's not about bells and whistles. It's not about how many pictures that you have on the page. It's not about how many pictures of angels or whatever it is. The search engines are looking at the text on the page, and people search specific keyword terms based on what they think they need to search to find what they want. Going back to how we started the meeting about, you woke up and you decided, oh, I need something for your business or whatever it is. I need this thing. Or you saw an ad that says, what about this? And you're, hey, I might be interested in that. That becomes a keyword term. What did you search when you had an idea that you needed something or that you wanted something? Think about those keyword terms that people search, and using Google to get a huge list of what people search that are related to yours. That tells you whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And Kevin, I'm going to stop you here for a second.
Sure.
Because if you see the second one in the list, sell musical instruments for, and I didn't, if you can open that up, for cash near me. That's interesting. Buy and sell used instruments. Okay, so it's related to that. Now, if you look at the third column, that's saying over the last 3 months, that's a 900% increase in the searches. So that just went from, well, it's 100 to 1,000 to, oh, that's 100 to 1,000. And it's going up. So if you look at the year to year, which is the next column, 900%. Competition is low, which means if you want to do an AdWords campaign, it's not that expensive. Low bid range is $1.21 per click. High bid range is $4.03 per click. That's what all that stuff means in Google. So you can see, is that term of value? And the value is not necessarily to you. The value means, do people really search this term? Because that's what you want. A term that is just okay, yeah, that means a few people would be searching it. You want the ones that have most. So who wants to answer this question? How many keyword terms should you have in a page? How many different keyword terms should you have in a page?
One.
Anybody?
One.
Kevin says 1. Who disagrees with Kevin? Oh, nobody disagrees?
The other Kevin does.
What'd you say, Kevin? Yeah, Kevin Hackett. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Kevin disagrees
I think
with
it's
Kevin Shue.
6 to 7. something like that.
Who
Read that
who else
somewhere.
disagrees with Kevin Shu that you should be having one keyword term on the page? And still, nobody's agreeing with me. I disagree with Kevin. Okay, Robert, finally get somebody to kick in. You should all have your hands up. Marinella, you should have your hand up too, for crying out loud. Kavitha, go ahead.
Yeah, I
Put your
disagree.
hand up
too.
or
I
you
think
asking a
it-
question?
No, not a question. Not a question. I think I disagree too. I think we should have more than 4 to 5 keywords.
There is no limit on the number of different keywords in the page.
Mhm.
So if you have a bunch of them that you found in your research that people are searching, then in your one article that you're working on, put in those keyword terms. That's why we're talking about related keyword terms. You don't use just one and then use it over and over. You find the one that you feel is most prominent for your page, no more than 3% density on that one. Apply that to your other keyword terms, no higher than a 3% density. But use several different keyword terms. Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to caveat mine. I have a native plant blog, and plants, you have a common name and you have a scientific name, and I'll often try to use both in the same post.
And that's fine, that works. Because there are going to be a lot of MIT graduates, and there's going to be a lot of people who are just normal people. So you want to have terms in that page that are for the very technical, if what you're selling is somewhat technical, all the way back to just completely dumbed down. Like Kevin Shu's is about VoIP. I don't know a thing about VoIP, so I want to find information. Marinella, go ahead.
Well, I think you also need to mention keyword cannibalization, because I was smirking earlier when you were challenging my input. Because yes, I agree, you target one keyword per page to be strategic, but
Mhm,
then you should also take into account related keywords.
mhm.
But you have to make sure that you don't have the same density for related words on other pages. So if you want to talk about keyword cannibalization, I think that might be useful to your audience.
Getting a little deeper, but you're right. You want to have those keyword terms in there, but you're not trying to target all the other keyword terms. You're trying to have them in there and add it into the mix of your content because other people search that. So if you're doing well for one keyword term that you did target, and you happen to have these others, then the people who search that other information, Google is seeing, yep, you've got that in the page, and other people have come because you've got this related term in your page. So we say, yep, but that works in tandem. Yes, keyword variants. That's what Arthur is saying in the chat. They're variations. You need to have those variations in the page. Maury, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you can use an example because you don't necessarily know how people search, but you can search for, use the keyword blue cars in California or cars that are blue in California, because people will type in their words differently looking for the same thing.
Mhm.
Though they sound different, they're sound the same, they're still different to Google.
And
So you
that's
can mix up your keywords by, you can put California in the front, California in the back, California in the middle. In Google's mind, those are all different keywords, but they can all mean the same thing. So yes, you can stuff 100 keywords in one article if they're all related, and it's just a combination of your long tail keywords.
so everybody is now trying to, I mean, those of us who have been talking to you are trying to get everybody to hear that you do want those related keyword terms. So as I helped Kevin find, he went into Google, go to Google and search the keyword term that you are targeting to get ideas for related terms and use those too. And Marnell put in a good link in the chat for keyword cannibalization. We didn't get into it now, but it's something that you should have, at least if it's in the back of your mind. There are a lot of technical things having to do with SEO, and we try not to get into too much because it's, we're not trying to make you an SEO professional or know about all these specific terms. You're going to hear them as you learn the amount of optimization that you need to get the results you want for your pages. So there's a good one. As a matter of fact, I might even just throw that into the tools list after I take a look at it. But I think everybody should take a look at that page. And I'm going to add that to the tools in case anybody's looking later. I put in the tools last week. This would be the first update, so I haven't changed anything. Any other questions in the group? Quickly put this thing in here so I can get back. If I don't do this now, I'll forget. Hush. Okay, there, that's done.
Hey, Kevin, did you see that list that Maury posted in the chat there of those keyword phrases?
In today's VP via ChatGPT.
I just wanted to make sure that he got that. He could search those phrases in the Google AdWords there, the keyword planner, and see what kind of results.
Actually,
Those are all pure buyer intention keywords. That's why I posted them.
Yeah.
So he has an example of what they look like. Because that's what you asked me before, Thomas. Well, what does a keyword look like for a buyer?
right.
Here's a whole list of buyer intent keywords for bands. These are all related to music.
Of course, yeah. So this is good for you, Kevin Hackett, because it's all about band equipment. So there you go, right out of ChatGPT. He's found a whole bunch of keywords, and you can do the same thing. That's everything. There is no limit per se to researching your keywords. It's the most important part of your website. More important than anything else. The only thing that is above that is performance. So you need the page fast. Second, you need to research the keyword terms. And it can be a daunting task because you need to really dig in and find the best ones and have a lot of different keyword terms. So make sure that you're spending the time. Speaking of time, it looks like we're out, but any last questions before we go today? So I've done one of two things. I've either overloaded you again, or I have satisfied all the questions and you guys are smarter than me. And I just showed the brain blew up. Yeah, we do that a lot. But we try to then go back and say, okay, so let's put your brain back together and get you on the right track again.
But I have one question.
Kind of use you as a barometer for our meetings. And it looks like you're getting information and you're trying to figure out how to put it to use. That's where I want to leave you guys. You got the information. Okay. Now think about how you put it to use. But do the research in the Google Keyword Planner. You can try other ones if you want. Incorporate ChatGPT is a good idea. Find those keyword terms. Oh, and lastly, never, ever think that everybody knows how to find what you sell or what services you've got. I know a lot of people who build a website go, oh, people know to search for this, so I just use these keywords. Oh, they don't. They don't. Okay, Kevin, he knows his business, and yet he's trying to figure out, Kevin Hackett, is trying to figure out what do people search to find what he does. And you've got a long list, Kevin. So research those terms to find out which ones are searched the most, get a lot of related searches, and go from there.
Yeah, he was asking about the top page bid column on Keyword Planner. And what that is, Kevin, that is what the highest bid that people are paying to reach the top of the
AdWords.
of the AdWords. Yeah.
Yeah, when you do an AdWords campaign, you have competition. You got somebody else who's using and trying to drive traffic to their site for a similar or the same type of service or item, product. So you've got to make sure that you're willing to pay more than the competition. Because if all the competition is paying $3 or $4 and you want to pay $1 and something, yeah, you're going to be way down the bottom. So if there are 10 people that are in there, I can't remember how many Google cuts it off at for a particular keyword for an AdWord campaign, but you just want to make sure that you're willing to do what you need to do to get to the top of an AdWord campaign or in the search engines for an organic search.
All right, just to clarify that, if I had like one term like that, sell music instruments near me, I would create an AdWord campaign and just pay for that one keyword only. Because I've been used to AdWords before and I've been able to, list multiple keywords in there, and you pay a certain dollar for that. But if you just want to target that one phrase, I guess you have to have just one campaign and one phrase.
Well, you could have more than one, you could have more than one phrase on a campaign, because generally you're running 3 different ads on a campaign.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to run one ad on one campaign.
So I'm just wondering how that top bid factors into, like, how if I paid, say I paid $10 and I had 3 phrases I wanted to do, does that mean that I'm paying $3.33 for each phrase?
No, you're paying $10 for each one.
Okay.
Pay per click. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, it's an auction, right? Until the highest bidder exhausts how much dollars they have willing to spend, then Google will drop to the next bidder, then to the next bidder. So if you bid low, you lower your chances of getting your ad showing. And how often the highest bidder with the most money is going to get their ad shown the most often and for the longest time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a roofing contractor right now is paying $35 per click.
I have to laugh because this guy, he's not only he's at the top of the search engine and he's still doing the AdWords campaign.
Well, I discussed that a little bit.
Click.
I discussed that a little bit last week, Thomas. If you're making $300 for every 35, why would you ever stop?
Right.
I guess
right? It's about how much money you're making.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense to quit if you're making money. If you're making $36, I'd keep doing it because I make it $1 every time.
Yeah.
There's no reason to quit if you're making money.
Yeah, I mean, the roofing contractor, his jobs are anywhere between a minimum of 10,000 to 500,000. And yes, I would definitely pay $35 a click, no doubt.
And to the other Kevin's question, you can run 100 keywords in a Google campaign, and you always start off big, and then you start funneling it down and picking and choosing which keywords are converting. And then when you narrow it down to your best, say 5 keywords, then you can increase the investment per keyword because those are the ones that are converting, are making your money, right? So it's expensive at first because you have to figure out what's working and what's not. And then it gets cheaper as you start narrowing the pile of keywords down that are effective and the ones that are not effective, eliminating the bad ones with negative keywords. It's kind of a long drawn out process to get to a really effective campaign. It's not as easy as it looks.
Right. Yeah, you just don't start a campaign. I mean, because like Maury said, you got negative keyword and everything that's involved in it, and you're just not going to jump in and start paying $35 a click and then think you're gonna be at the top of the Google Ads. You know, because in the campaign, you got quality, Google or ad quality also. So,
And I mean, you may find that $35 is too expensive, but what you may find is that 10 $5 keywords get you enough traffic and you don't bother with the 35,
right,
right? So there's a whole process you go through for ad campaigns to optimize them, to make them work for you. It's not throw a keyword in and money and hope, and money rains from the sky. It's not quite that easy.
yeah. Yeah, because you can have keywords to drive traffic and, your intent and everything. I mean, to set up a Google AdWords campaign, it's not, I mean, it takes the right experience, really. Otherwise, you're just throwing your money away.
And you definitely need to have the pages of your website prepared for an AdWords campaign. If you're just saying, well, my site's kind of foobar, but maybe I'll just drive some traffic to it. Well, it sounds to me like you don't have the keyword terms correct in whatever pages you have, and you may not even have the pages set up for stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
Well, Thomas, so I can comment on that. When I do AdWords, I strictly go after buyer-centric AdWords, and I send them to landing pages. Because if I'm going to pay Google that much money, they better be in buyer phase.
Yeah.
And then I don't care about my whole website. I only care about the landing page I'm sending them to, because I want a conversion for my dollars. I'm not trying to send them to awareness, because at $35 a click, awareness gets damn expensive, right?
Right.
You're paying for them to be able to get informed.
Yeah.
And why should I educate them and then they go buy it to somebody else? Like, yeah, no, that's not happening, right?
Yeah. Well, when I say $35 a click, you're right. I mean, it's not like he's getting 1,000 clicks a day at $35 a pop. No, it's because the way they're set up, he gets maybe, and his budget, his budget is set up to only stop at so much money. And he gets, the last time I talked to him, he was getting 3 to 5 leads a week. For a roofing contractor and a place like Naples, Florida, that's not bad.
Well, that's high ticket. So yes, that's actually a good number. His conversion rate is probably decent.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we go? We covered a lot.
Well, we digressed into advertising and paid advertising. So
Yeah, but it is still all part of that. So it gives everybody more reason to have that sullen face because you're thinking too hard.
I still swear by paid advertising. I mean, I was a painting contractor for several years and I dumped a lot of money into it and I made a lot of money because of it.
well, Art and Thomas already know I'm a paid guy. That's number one for me, paid advertising. That's what I do with everything.
Well, there you go, folks. Any other questions before we go? And if you need anything, Arthur and I are available after the meeting is over. So you can connect with us, either ask some questions or give you some help. And I hope, Kevin Hackett, that you got some more and you understand more of what you need to do with those keywords.
Yeah, I'm getting along.
It looked like he was getting the hang of it. So
Yeah.
but there's
The thing
more.
is, I was putting too many words in all at once.
Yeah.
I was seeing too many results.
Yes, I did
Yeah.
see that you were doing that. I tend to go just one keyword term at a time, put those blinders on. SEO is all about, you got to focus close in. The more things that you add into whatever you're doing, the more difficult it becomes. So one thing at a time. Search that keyword term. Don't try to put in 4 or 5. It can just be an exhausting thing.
I think you find when you start digging into this stuff, it's like drinking from a fire hose.
Yep. Go to the faucet is what I keep trying to tell everybody. Use the faucet. Don't go to the fire hose. All righty, everybody. That's all I've got for today. Thank you very much for coming by. See you next week.